Welcome to TransAction TV. I'm your host, Anthony Attanasio, CEO of Hawk Strategies. Joining us today is my good friend Ken Messina, president of Asphalt Paving Systems. Ken, thanks for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
So, Ken, tell us a little bit about APS, Asphalt Paving Systems, and your role, and what APS does as a company.
Well, it's a fascinating story that started over 40 years ago by a guy with absolutely zero income coming in and has built it into a several $100 million a year company in Little Hamilton, New Jersey. When I started in 1990, we were 20 people. We're over 700 people today. We only had one location when I started in Hamilton, New Jersey, and now we are in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida with hot mix plants, asphalt emulsion plants, and primarily do pavement preservation throughout the East Coast in those regions.
So the owner, Bob Capaferi, and you actually grew up together in Hamilton. So this has been a lifelong, almost story of you two.
Yes,
right?
He tried to steal my lunch when I was 8 years old. I stabbed him with a pencil. We went to the principal's office and have been best friends ever since. And I was best man in one of his 3 weddings. So.
See, that's pretty good odds. That's Hall of Fame level, batting 333. So
at least he didn't go to 4.
Exactly. So you guys have really taken a small business, right? I know Bobby bought some used equipment and decided, like the American entrepreneurial spirit, to try it, and you've given the numbers. Now, we've said, as a former assistant commissioner of the DOT, I've seen the benefit of pavement preservation in the state. So starting off with some municipal work, right? You started off in the municipal market.
Yes.
Now you're doing tens of millions a year for the state DOT. Tell us about what that work's been like and how you've seen the state's road network benefit from it.
Well, when we started with NJDOT, and it's not just what we do in pavement preservation, there's other processes that get done as well. But when we started, the state of good roads was around 42%.
Yes, it was.
And you're over 8, probably when you were there or prior to you being there.
Yep.
And now you're over 80% of good roads. So I think that speaks volumes for what we do, how we do it, the speed of which we can get in, the speed of which projects can be put out. You don't need a tremendous amount of design. They're all environmentally friendly, and they are literally the definition of sustainability. And when you start talking about EPDs and whatnot, if we ever get back to that, it is literally the definition of all those things.
Yeah. To extend the life of infrastructure at a fraction of the cost while using minimal new material compared to other methods. It's environmentally friendly, it's great to the budget, and it extends the life of your asphalt. So why wouldn't public agencies want to do it?
Well, listen, everything's got a need at a certain point in time.
Right.
We pride ourselves on only doing this work on roads that it is applicable to. If you start going out and doing, and I've seen this as a mistake that DOTs have made, they find a successful product and then they use it on every road.
Right.
And that's when you start having failures. Our NJDOT has been very wise in the way that they have tempered the use of it, got used to the products, and now they are very, very good at choosing those roads. And we work well hand in hand with DOT. If there's issues that we see on roads that we think may be a problem in their construction, we bring them to their attention, and they're very accommodating when it comes to talking to us, about changing specifications or changing processes. Right. Should there be a need.
Right road, right process, right?
Right road, right time, right process,
and
yes.
You've tried to educate the DOT. I've seen it at the county and municipal level as well, where folks have come to you with roads that were not applicants, and you've turned those roads down. You won't do the wrong process on the wrong road. And
we've done it with DOT as well. If we see, especially when you start getting into ramps, very little attention is put in the shoulders and ramps, right? Everything's about the traveling or the roadways. And a lot of times you'll see ramps that really just are too far gone to do pavement preservation on, and we'll always bring that to their attention and not waste their dollars. And if it has to be mill and filled, then so be it. There's great applications there that you can do as well.
Absolutely. It's actually the taxpayer advocacy too that you're that you're promoting, which is fantastic. So we're on this side of the Delaware River at the New Jersey TransAction Conference, and thank you as well for being on a panel and sponsoring the conference. But you on the other side of the river, and Hawk Strategies is named after the St. Joe's Hawk, so I have a lot of my heart in Pennsylvania as well. You are the president of the Pennsylvania Association of Asphalt Material Applicators. And we're going to call that PAMA for the rest of this conversation.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yes, I am.
So you're the president of PAMA, which is basically the statewide trade association for the pavement preservation industry in Pennsylvania. Tell us a little bit about your role as president and some of the recent developments you've had with the Pennsylvania DOT.
So, like a lot of organizations, they become stale. And at some point in time, myself and several members got together and said it's time to reinvigorate the organization. So we've been really successful. We had a small venue that we were having a yearly conference in with no real advocacy going on, either on a municipal level or a state level. And since we've put a lot of time and effort into it, this is not something that just came about.
Right.
We are at the point now where we've got, a fantastic relationship with PennDOT. We have quarterly meetings with them. They go over specifications and needs that they have. And that's the one thing that we've stressed at PEMA, and we stress with all the DOTs we work with. It's not just about what we want.
Right.
You need to sit down and you need to listen to the agency and see what their needs are, and that's how new products come about as well. Yeah. But we've also, been able to, this year, we will be putting on training for PennDOT, never done before, in pavement preservation. Up in Allentown, it'll be districts 4, 5, 6, and 8 now are participating on day 1 and day 2. And this is a national educational system that has been developed by AMA, the Asphalt Emulsion Manufacturers Association. Too many acronyms in this business.
Transportation.
But they have a fantastic program. A gentleman by the name of Scott Demetro is coming out, and he's doing a 2-day presentation. And we are also participating in it as members, talking about individual processes and what we do differently in Pennsylvania. 3rd day is dedicated to municipalities, which, if you believe in the concept of a road network, the municipal roads are just as important as the state highways as they lead into one another.
Right.
So they're just some of the things that we've been doing. We give the local charities in the construction industry. Last year we raised money for Construction Angels, and it kind of hit home last year. We lost 4 people while crack sealing out on a state highway in Pennsylvania. Beginning of the season, and we decided that it was time for us to put our money where our mouth is and help those families that needed help during that time.
That's incredible. And industry associations are so important, not only to support the industry, but to your point, to educate public organizations, because you are the experts on what you do. So for you, as president of PEMA, Bob Capoferri is on the board of the UTCA in New Jersey.
Yes.
And these are volunteer positions. In addition to running your companies and having families and everything else, you're spending all of this time advocating for your industry and for the taxpayer. So for that, we thank you, because you're not getting paid for it, that's for sure.
It's a labor of love. We love pavement preservation. I'm blessed over in Pennsylvania with a fantastic board. Our chairs and co-chairs on our individual committees are incredible. Our volunteers on the committees, as you said, everybody's a volunteer, but everybody puts in a tremendous amount of time. But we are seeing the effect of the efforts now.
Right.
We're seeing it at the bidding table. We're seeing it a lot of places, and in conversations with a lot of the people at the DOTs we work in, this is not going away.
Right.
We've done a good enough job educating them and showing them what it can do,
Right.
what it costs to do it versus what to go back to the original methods are.
Sure.
And we don't see it going away. It's something that's here to stay.
The investment in preserving your roads will save you significant money over the life of the road versus constantly having to replace it.
Well, I always love the guys who mill and pave, and they say, we got 20 years out of that road. Well, they won't tell you that after year 5, they should have done something to it. By year 20, you can't drive down it.
Right.
You need 4-wheel drive and big tires.
You're off-roaded, exactly.
Yes.
No, and then to your point, it's a mix of different processes that make the whole thing work, and you've truly made pavement preservation a staple in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. And as a driver, I think we should all be saying thank you. So,
well, you're welcome, and thank you.
No, thanks for being with us today, ladies and gentlemen. Ken Messina, the president of Asphalt Paving Systems and PEMA, and we want to thank you for joining us for this episode of TransAction TV.